The following presentation was recorded at the Menditto Amplification Annex of Maggio Music Center in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to the workshop. How are you today? I kind of bruised up my arm a little bit, changing some vents on steam radiators. Someone decided to mount the radiator really close to a wall with one of them, and of course the vent was on that side, and I had to kind of struggle to get this 100-year-old little device off the side of a cast iron radiator. Anyhow, yesterday I thought that I had finished working and refurbishing this 1966 Fender Deluxe Reverb, and I found a new problem which is kind of interesting, and I'm going to show it to you. I had just finished changing all of the electrolytic capacitors in the power supply under the doghouse, and this is the original Mallory bias power supply capacitor. Changed that, made everything look really nice and pretty and professional. I was really proud. Thought, okay, finally have this all finished. I tracked down all of the rattles and whatever else was going on in the old cabinet here. And now I have discovered a new problem, and I'm going to show that to you now. This is my 2020 Fender American Performer Stratocaster in Lake Placid Blue. And this nice satin finish really looks great on camera. Doesn't reflect too much of the light. I really love this guitar. I actually have another one in Honeyburst color with the rosewood fingerboard as well. And this has jumbo frets. It's one of the only guitars in the catalog that Fender makes that has jumbo frets. So at any price point, this one is one of my favorite because I just love the jumbo frets. Anyhow, I thought that I had gotten everything straightened out with this amplifier, and I reassembled it all, thinking that I was done. I videoed every single step of the way. A lot of video I was going to edit into a really nicely produced video presentation like I normally do on this channel. And I was kind of wrong. It's not finished. So reverb, that's, gotta love single coil pickups, but you know, you put them in the in-between position and it kind of acts like a humbucker and it's a little more quiet. So it sounds good, crisp, clear, but the problem is that when I use the reverb, now if I turn up the reverb just a little bit, I'm not sure if you know how the reverb works, but there's a wet and dry signal. So right now, the reverb on 1, you have 100% dry signal. And that sounds really great. And you turn the reverb up a little bit, it introduces some of the wet signal. Right? But when I get past 3 here, not sure if you can hear that, but let's just even unplug the guitar. And without any signal, as soon as you get past the 3, it kind of introduces this weird hum. And then it gets kind of quiet when you go all the way up to 10. And what I think is happening there, let me put this. It's actually muting it and getting quiet when you turn the wet signal on, right? So something is wrong on the wet signal side. bringing it into cutoff, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe you have a bad coupling capacitor in the wet signal path, and it's leaking, and it's introducing some DC, and it's changing the bias of the next tube in the sequence, in the cascade. I'm not sure yet. And now I'm going to need to take this apart once again and put it up onto the bench. So, I would like to know if any of you have any idea. Yeah. Something's wrong. So now, before something explodes, we're going to shut this down, and we are going to open it up and put it onto the bench once again. So that's where we are at with our 1966 Fender Deluxe Reverb refurbishment project. And this amp, it's mostly original. Like I showed you, these capacitors have already been changed once before. There was a repair tag on the inside from early 2006, so that's nearly 20 years ago. And around that time was when the great capacitor plague was, where there were a lot of imitation Chinese-made capacitors that were absolute garbage. Now, these Zycon brand capacitors, I'm not certain if they were part of that, but I figured this amplifier was sitting unused for a long time. 20 years is a long time, so I just changed these. But this bias electrolytic capacitor absolutely needed to be changed, and that will be explained in the full-length video presentation on this project. So, do you have any ideas what would cause the muting of the sound, the change in volume, and that hum when I get past about 3 on the reverb here and go into the wet signal? That is the question. So that's where I am at today, and I am trying to make more frequent, unscripted, and just not very highly produced videos for you guys. And again, I would like it if you would comment, subscribe, like the video, dislike the video. I think that might help as well. And I will see you next time. Let me know what you think. Thank you.